Hello, my name is Jim Ludwig, Major Gifts Officer here at Vegas PBS, and I want to welcome you to our seminar today on planning for the changing economy for seniors. We have a lot in store for you today. We have two excellent panelists with us today. We have Kim Walker, CPA, and we also have Jason Oceans. But before we get started, I want to thank our sponsor for all of our seminars this year. And that sponsor is Silver State Schools Credit Union.
I'm Scott Arkels, President and CEO at Silver State Schools Credit Union. For the past 70 years, we have been committed to strengthening our community and providing excellent member service and financial solutions for every stage of life. At Silver State Schools Credit Union, our valued members are at the heart of everything that we do. Our purpose statement drives us, prioritizing people over profit. That is why we strive to be a good neighbor by investing time, money, and effort into partnerships that support our community. We are a proud supporter of Vegas PBS. Together, we are paving the path for financial success in our Southern Nevada community.
Thank you so much for Silver State Schools Credit Union. I also want to put a plug in for two upcoming shows that we have. One that's very exciting is our Ken Burns special on Hemingway. That's going to be on April 5th, 6th, and 7th. And we also have what we're very excited about is our upcoming season of Outdoor Nevada, which is going to be on every Wednesday night at 7:30, starting April 7th. So set your calendar right now and your DVR and everything that you need, especially on April 7th, where you can catch Outdoor Nevada, and then just keep it on the same channel and we'll go into Hemingway. We have an episode at 8 o'clock and another one at 10 o'clock. So thank you all so much for attending. We need your help in order for this seminar to be a success. And we need you to send us your questions. And the way you're going to do that is through our chat box, which is located to the right of your screen. And if you look down, you'll see where it says webcam, audio, attendees, handouts, and chat. If you look under the chat, it says type your message here. So what I'd like for everybody to do to make sure this works is I'm going to ask you a simple question. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream? So if it's vanilla, chocolate, Rocky Road, whatever you want, please type your favorite flavor of ice cream. And then also remember to hit the little button that says send. So I'm going to give everybody a little bit of a chance to respond so that I can see some responses and know that you're able to send us a question on these important topics. Vanilla bean, thank you. Vanilla bean again. Chocolate, pistachio. This takes a second to come in. Coffee. Let's see if we have some others. Black walnut, great. Okay, so this is how you are going to communicate with us when you have a question for our presenters, and they will help you to the best of their ability answer your questions. Now, in order for our presenters to be able to provide you the best program possible, we are going to ask you two poll questions. And these are very simply yes or no questions, and this is going to help them guide this presentation and make this so it's beneficial for you. So our first poll question coming up. Do you feel adequately financially prepared for retirement? Please check either yes or no. Click on the yes or the no. I'll give you a couple of seconds for that. Do a plug for you. Again, Outdoor Nevada coming up. This is our latest issue of the Source magazine that many of you should be getting. First episode is Wednesday. It's on Wednesdays at 7:30 with the first one starting at April 7th. Let's see our responses. So 64%, I would say 2/3 of you feel adequately financially prepared for retirement, and about 1/3 of you need a little assistance. Well, that's why we're here, to help with these financial education seminars. Question number 2, if we could call that one up, is, are you aware that you can use the RMD, or required minimum distribution, of your IRA to support charities? Again, please select either yes or no. We'll give you a little bit of time. About another 10 seconds. Again, shameless plug, but Ken Burns Hemingway coming. Let's see our responses. 71% of you are aware that you can use the RMD of your IRA to support charities. We're going to be going into much detail of that in this seminar. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your participation. Again, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box, which is where you put your favorite ice cream. Now, without any further ado, I want to introduce you to our new president and general manager of Vegas PBS, Mary Mazer. And I'm going to click off so that she gets the full screen. There we go.
Thank you so much, Jim, and hello, everyone. Welcome to today's panel discussion, Planning for the Changing Economy for Seniors. I'm Mary Mazer, the new president and general manager of Vegas PBS. And, you know, under normal circumstances, we'd be trying to meet together in person, but of course, considering the pandemic, we're getting a little creative, and I really appreciate everyone logging in and taking time out of their day to meet us virtually, and looking forward to meeting you in person very soon. It's my hope that we're on the other side and brighter days are ahead. So, you know, just this week, our special needs library was able to expand its offerings from curbside to socially distanced in-person appointments to better serve our families with children with special needs. It's been great seeing people back in the building, albeit from a distance, and I feel the energy beginning to percolate back up. We've seen the school district go back safely and, as I said, welcoming children back into the classrooms. And I'm also proud to report that the future is very bright at Vegas PBS. In 2020, the station was named Nonprofit of the Year by Vegas Inc. magazine, in part due to the quick response and the wide range of resources made available to the community from the beginning of the COVID-19 health crisis. For the 12th consecutive year, Vegas PBS ranks in the top 5 the most watched PBS stations in the country. So you can check out a little bit more detail in the electronic copy of our community impact infographic that is available in your support materials. And that'll give you a little gauge on what we're doing beyond the broadcast. And beyond programming, it is really a very important commitment that the station remain a connector in the community. It's a safe place for the exchange of ideas, a vital educational resource, a platform for career training, a critical link in the emergency notification system, and so much more. This unprecedented time in our history really underscores the global citizenship and provides a singular opportunity to articulate partnerships across all platforms. I'm excited by the chance to use my experience to expand access in education and the arts to our community. I'm passionate about the fundamentals of very good storytelling, and I'm equally passionate about the technology and capacity to improve the audience experience and really improve lives. I believe that supporting our work truly does make a difference. And I also want to thank Tom Axtell for the foundation that he put in place. He was a PBS visionary, and he created a real history of excellence that is nationally known. My plan is to build on his legacy, and I want to thank everyone who helped build that foundation that he created. And I certainly want to thank our Planned Giving Council for their work in these important educational programs. Today is our 8th virtual seminar, and we're proud to bring you these important financial seminars. I'm looking forward to learning along with you about the changing economy. And I want to thank the 210 plus members of our Silver Legacy Society, those who've agreed to leave Vegas PBS as a beneficiary in their estate. These are transformational gifts and so vital to the success of our mission. Thank you to Kim Walker and Jason Oceans for their expertise on these topics and more. I know you're going to enjoy their presentation. So for this seminar to be a success, as Jim said, we need your participation. So remember to send your questions out via the chat box, and that's right in front of the screen, and enjoy the program. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn it back over to Jim.
Thank you so much, Mary. And can we have Jason and Kim come back so that I can introduce you? I see Kim and I see Jason. So I'm going to give you a little intro on each one of them. We're going to start with Kim Walker. Kim is the chairperson of the Southern Nevada Public Television Plan Giving Council. She is a third-generation Las Vegan who received her accounting degree from the University of Santa Clara. And she became a certified public accountant and has worked in public accounting for the past 38 years. She has a ton of experience in the topics that we're going to go through today. Next, I want to introduce Jason Oceans to you. Jason is a wealth management advisor and certified exit planner with Westpac Wealth Partners. He specializes in working with business owners, physicians, and families throughout the United States in effective financial decision-making. Jason attended his MBA from the University of Michigan Business School in Ann Arbor. And that's especially important today because Michigan is playing UCLA in the NCAA tournament in the Elite Eight to make it to the Final Four. So we're just glad that Jason's here with us and not getting ready for the game right now. So I want to welcome Kim and Jason to the program. Thank you both very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to start this one out with a question for Kim. And Kim, what are the recent tax changes for 2021?
We had quite a few tax changes last year, as you know. I think the more pertinent tax changes for 2021 that we can count on, we can't really count on a lot of things yet because we don't know what's coming down the pike with the new administration. Anything that's on the books today may not be on the books by the end of the year. But what we do know that's been changed that'll probably be helpful are the increasing benefits to childcare and childcare credits. Those have gone up, as well as our ability to deduct charitable contributions for non-itemizers. We had a delay in needing to take the minimum distribution from a pension or IRA plan up to age 72 instead of age 70. So that's been nice. Then also we were afforded the ability to contribute to an IRA if we're still working past the age of 70, which is new. Those might be some key things for us to talk about today.
Got it. One of the hot topics out there is the recent stimulus payments. And some people have some questions of, where is mine? How do I get it?
It's funny because I would have to say that that is the #1 question I've gotten this year. It's not how much taxes do I owe? How can I keep my taxes less? Do any of the tax law changes affect me? No. Where's my stimulus money? The answer is we don't know. We don't know where it is. It's somewhere at the IRS. Keep in mind that as of the end of December in 2020, the IRS had over 14 million pieces of unopened mail. They had millions and millions of tax returns from 2019 that hadn't even been processed yet. They're a little bit better than that today, but not significantly. In addition to that, they've been shut down, so people are not working at the offices at the IRS buildings. They closed a few service centers. They were surprised to find out that they had to issue stimulus payments to taxpayers twice last year. They were not prepared for that. And they're doing it again at the beginning of this year, another new stimulus issuance. All of those things have essentially brought the IRS's ability to process to a grinding halt. Where's the stimulus check you've been waiting for? I don't know. Where's my 2019 tax return that got filed that hasn't been opened yet? I don't know. Where's all the letters that we've written regarding questions and status checks sitting somewhere?
Got it. You mentioned the stimulus check. What can you do if you think you're supposed to get it and you don't have it? Is there something that you can do on your 2021 taxes?
On your 2020 taxes.
2020 taxes, excuse me.
Yes, there's something you can do. If you did not receive one or both of your stimulus payments for 2020, there's a box to check, and those will be included in your refund for 2020 or will be used to reduce your tax liability for 2020. That does not include the new stimulus check this year. It's just the two for last year.
Got it. So that would be the one that you might have received like in the May, June timeframe, and then one at the end of the year. Is that correct?
If you didn't get either of those and you were entitled to it, you can square it up on your 2020 tax return.
Or if you received one and didn't receive another.
Correct. I'm assuming that will be the same for the new one in 2021. They'll probably have the same opportunity at the end of the year on that tax return as well.
Got it. Okay. Kind of shifting gears a little bit, but what do you see as the most common mistake people make with their taxes?
Strangely enough, it's forgetting to put certain types of income on the return. One example in Las Vegas, we have people that win at the gaming tables or at a slot machine. They're issued a 1099 for that gaming income right then and there, which may be in April. By December, that piece of paper is lost at home amid the other millions of papers that they have, so they forget to put it on the tax return. There's also retirement income or distribution income or even a small W-2 that gets omitted. Most of the letters that we see from the IRS are asking a taxpayer to report missing information.
Okay. What is the minimum, excuse me, how much do you have to win gaming before they give you a 1099?
It depends on the game. So each game has its own limit.
Got it.
When you're issued a 1099.
Unfortunately, my mother-in-law visits every Christmas and she's never received a 1099, but she has contributed heavily to our Las Vegas economy, which we appreciate greatly.
We do appreciate that.
One more question for you. When is it appropriate to work with a tax professional such as yourself on your taxes? How much material do you need? When can you do it yourself, and when do we need a professional to help us?
That is a super individual question. It's according to your own comfort level and your own sophistication. If you feel like things have moved beyond your skill set, by all means, engage the services of a CPA.
Got it. Excellent advice.
Yeah, and I would like to add to that.
Sure.
I think if you're reviewing and you're confused and there's some level of interpretation, recognize that there are experts out there who do this for a living, and it can be very expensive at times to attempt to do it yourself.
Great. Kim, here's an interesting question. What are the best ways to manage the tax laws to your benefit? You mentioned the new ones that we have out here that are going on. What are the best ways to make it work for you?
Again, it depends on the type of income you have, whether you're a business owner, rental property owner, strictly a W-2 employee. If nothing else, if you feel a bit uneducated about your opportunities for tax savings, pay for the consult services during mid-year with a CPA. It's perhaps an hour of time, might be well worth it to learn. We never know what we don't know. And that education might be beneficial while you still have time during the year to affect your tax status.
Great. We got some questions coming in, so I'm gonna go to one of our questions from our audience. And I think this might be for both of you. So I'm gonna read the question. How does owning and making money on stock affect my Social Security disability? Is that one?
I'm not sure I understand that question. Social Security benefits are fixed.
Social Security benefit, I think we go with instead of disability.
Okay, so Social Security benefits that you receive are going to be a fixed amount. If you earn income in other places such as capital gains, what it's going to affect is how much of your Social Security benefits are going to be taxable, not how much you receive.
That's probably what they mean. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So you'll receive the same amount. You may be taxed on more of the benefits if your other income is high enough.
And Jason, because you work with stocks and everything else, you want to add a little to that?
I mean, I think that Kim was pretty spot on. The additional comment would be that if you're withdrawing and if you're accessing your money in your investments and you're increasing your annual income, you could increase the tax bracket. So there might be, recognition that withdrawing money can bump you into a different tax bracket.
Got it. Here comes unfortunately, it's out there. So Kim, I understand there are a lot of scams with the IRS and people using their computer skills for what I call evil instead of good. Are there any current ones out there right now?
Funny enough, where's my stimulus money is the newest phishing scam. You'll receive an email that says something like, hey, were you shorted on your stimulus? Are you still waiting for your stimulus? Click here. The logo that you're presented with looks very official from the IRS. You're asked to give personal information, social security number, address, so on and so on. And it is a scam. The IRS does not send out random emails asking you to ask them questions about where your stimulus money is. Any email like that is going to be fake. Ignore it. We are still seeing a scam mostly for younger people. They seem to be targeting younger people, and it's called "Where's My Refund?" And the email says something like, we know that you were entitled to receive an IRS refund. Did you get it? And when you click on that, once again, social security number, address, so on and so on, with very official looking IRS logo. The IRS is never going to send you an email under any circumstances to offer you an opportunity to go to find anything out. So any email from the IRS is, just consider it to be a scam. But those are the two latest that we have. We also have, strangely enough, in Nevada, a scam with the unemployment benefits. I have probably 15 clients right now who received 1099s from the unemployment department of the state of Nevada for 2020, claiming or showing them, here's your income for 2020 from unemployment benefits. None of these people applied for unemployment or received unemployment, but their information was hacked. We don't know where the money actually went. We have no way of finding that out, but they're receiving a 1099 from the unemployment department for income that they're supposed to report on their tax return. Since that happened, we did get some unemployment relief. The first 10,000, roughly $10,000 of income is excludable from taxation. But nonetheless, if you do have a 1099 from the unemployment department that you did not earn, you need to contact them and have them reissue a corrected 1099 for zero. I would say those are the three latest.
Got it. So, and that shocked me a little bit. So just to reiterate, so if I was one of the people being scammed, I will get in the mail a 1099 stating that I owe because of X number of dollars of an unemployment benefit.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody's receiving this money, but they're charging it to me, and the IRS says I have to pay taxes on it.
Possibly, sure. If it's over the excluded amount, yes, you would be responsible for tax on that.
And then if it does happen to me, what do I do?
You have to call the state of Nevada. They have a special hotline set up for just this issue because they've had so much of it happen this last year. And you have to request a corrected 1099 showing zero instead of whatever the number was on the original.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that. Again, people using their technology good for bad. And it's a shame that that happens out there, especially if what we had going on in 2020, people were sitting around their house wondering what they could do, and they come up with these ideas. So bottom line though, Kim, from what I'm getting from you is no emails from the IRS or Social Security. You get them, don't even look at them, correct?
Correct. Although the Social Security Department does have some online features for tracking your benefits. I'm not going to say exclusively don't look at those, but I will say exclusively don't look at IRS emails.
Got it. And actually, this kind of leads into our next little segment here. I'm sorry, I want to, one more question, then we'll get to the next set of poll questions. Jason, this one's for you, kind of going in a different direction here. Jason's been with us, this is his fourth seminar with us. So some of you might remember him being here on several seminars. But to summarize, what are the biggest risks that our viewers face in retirement?
Well, I'd first acknowledge that the rules fundamentally change when you transition from your accumulation years where you're building your wealth to your distribution years during retirement, where you're going from having your income produce net worth to having your net worth produce income forever. So the first one that's fundamentally different is longevity, which is fear of running out of money, or it's running out of money living a really long life. So you can't plan to retire on your 65th birthday, pass away on your 85th birthday, because retirement could last 10 years, 20, 30, 40 years. So longevity, long-term care, what we know statistically, about 70% of those over age 65 will require long-term care assistance. So you can either fully plan to address that, you can plan to address components, or you could have no plan. And I've said this before, I believe if you have no plan, but you have the knowledge, you're electing to have no plan. Inflation, it's insidious. So every single year that there's inflation, it basically reduces your ability to purchase. So if your income remains the same, it'll buy less and less each year. And taxes work similarly. If taxes increase and you're living on a fixed income, the net amount, so the amount post-tax, is going to buy less and less each year. market volatility during your working years, it's your friend. So it's not necessarily bad volatility. That's how you capture returns. That's how you grow your money. But during your retirement years, you're effectively locking in your losses if you withdraw money when the market's down. And similarly, there's a concept called sequence of return. So as you're heading into retirement or during the first year, early years of your retirement, you're that much more sensitive to having negative years early. So it's not about average rate of return. It's about having some bad years early on, which can prevent you from having a lump sum of money that will provide for your entire retirement. Those are the main ones that come to mind.
Great, thank you. Summer, can we pull up our additional poll questions? This one I'm very interested in, and I think Kim will be as well. Our next poll question is a yes or no question. It's, have you received computer voice phone calls from the IRS or Social Security Administration telling you that you are in trouble? And again, shameless plug, but Outdoor Nevada Season 4 coming up Wednesdays, 7:30. Let's see our results. So about a third, 36% of you have received a call from the IRS or Social Security Administration telling you that you are in trouble and that you probably have to go to Target and you have to get them gift cards and send it to them immediately. Otherwise, somebody's going to come to your house and knock on your door. Right, Kim?
Correct.
So a third of our audience. Does that surprise you, Kim?
No, actually, one evening I was at home with my husband. He picked up the phone and got a computerized voice call from an IRS representative saying we were in big trouble and court proceedings were starting. He hung the phone up and said, "What are you doing? Aren't you taking care of our taxes?" I said that was fake. He said, "How do you know? Sounds like we're in trouble." So it hits home. It even is in my own household that we're getting those phone calls.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. And that makes us all feel better for those of us who get it. I know they play on seniors, and obviously this topic is changing, planning for the changing economy of seniors. And they do target that age group. So we do want to educate our group. Again, the IRS will never call you. They will not send you an email. You will only receive correspondence via US mail. Correct, Kim?
In theory, correct. I'm not sure they're ever going to get to the point where they can start sending out letters again, though. They're so backlogged. But in theory, yes.
Got it. Okay, Summer, can we do our next poll question? Do any of you have pending issues with the IRS that still have not been resolved? Again, we should be getting good at this. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds. And let's see our responses. Nope, nobody has any pending issues with the IRS that haven't been resolved. So that's good news. And then our last question is, how many tax law changes do you think we had in 2020? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4 or more? Give it a couple seconds. And let's see our response. So 87% think it's 4 or more, which is almost 90%, and then 13% think it's 3. Kim, what is the answer?
Well, let me show you. Here's an example. Our last major tax law change. This is the explanation of it. These are all the laws. It's not big writing. You can see that. That's one tax law change. We have hundreds of tax law changes a year, and this year's been no different.
I think the ultimate job security is becoming a CPA. I think that's the lesson.
Such a fun job too. You're all missing out.
Well, what is the old thing? There's 2 things you can count on: death and taxes. So they're going to happen to you all the time. Well, Kim, we're so glad that you like reading through all that, and you can filter it out for us and get us the best that we need there. Jason, you mentioned this already, but I want to kind of go back to it if I can. What is the most effective strategy for accessing your money during retirement? I know everybody's save, but then you hit that point where you need to start taking it out. What is the best way to do that?
Well, first, let me just describe what traditional access or distribution looks like. It typically involves having a lump sum, whether that's 401k, IRA, or a brokerage account, and withdrawing a certain percentage. So there's this concept, this retirement plan called safe withdrawal rate of return, 4% rule, which is now the less than 3% rule. And if anybody wants any information on this, I'm happy to send an article on it. It's really good learning information as you're heading off into retirement. So that strategy produces the least amount of income. It has the least amount of liquidity, because if we're talking about hypothetically $1 million, that $1 million has to produce the income every year. So if you spend some of that, it's no longer going to produce the income. So less income, lower liquidity, more risk because it's subject to what the market produces, and it's the highest taxes because the money that's sort of golden, which is the principal, you can't really touch out of fear of running out of money, or without playing that game of chicken where it's you have your money, you have your wealth, and you want to leave some behind, or you might not want to leave some behind, but it's you against how long that needs to produce the income. So that's the traditional plan. The plan that enables a client to, or a person to optimize retirement, has a few different components. The first is what I call free liquidity or true liquidity. So it's money that's there, that's available, that's liquid, that's whether it's cash or it's some type of non-correlated asset, that's there if the market's down, if you have some unexpected life event, you can draw from there. Another component, so the second component is a guaranteed income component, and that addresses basic living expenses. So part of that would be Social Security, doesn't provide enough for the vast majority of people. It might be a pension, which fewer and fewer people have as time goes on. And then the third would be engineering an income annuity. So it's basically engineering more pension or more Social Security. And then that frees up a third component for growth purposes. So that component can be in the market where the client can enjoy the volatility and get growth. So that can subsidize annual income. It can be there to provide legacy. So you have this three-tiered approach, which actually addresses, if you were to map that to all of the risks which I shared earlier.
Got it. Thank you. Here's a question that we get almost at every seminar. So I just want to, I sound like a broken record when I ask this one, but it's one of those hot questions for you. And I just want to make sure that we're taking care of our audience here. When is the right time to retire? Loaded question, I know.
I think context is everything. So obviously it depends on the person. So you have a couple components. You have the emotional element, where if it's somebody who's financially secure, life changes when somebody goes into retirement. They no longer have the same activities consuming their time and the same purpose each day. So you certainly want to address that. But I think for the purposes of this, we're probably focusing more so on the financial element.
Mhm.
One thing I would certainly encourage people to recognize is that you oftentimes don't have the option to go back. And the longer that you can draw an income from working, the less pressure, the less stress on everything else that you've created, all the money that's there to provide income for the rest of your life. And if you think in these terms, if you work an additional year, that additional year might be the year that enables you to have some long-term care for the rest of your life. Or that year might prevent you from having to withdraw money when the market's down. So to the extent that you can, delay it, I certainly encourage that. And I definitely advocate that you work with your financial advisor and go through multiple scenarios, and not just scenarios where the sun is shining, scenarios where the market doesn't behave the way you want it to, or you have unexpected life events, or you have higher inflation, or whatever the case may be. Because again, you only get one shot at it, and you don't want to be wrong.
And this is for Kim and Jason, kind of tailing on that question. When should you take Social Security? So Jason, when should you? And Kim, what are the tax implications on taking it early or later?
Again, it depends component.
Right.
It depends on the rest of what your state looks like, because it's really fundamentally a cash flow question. And what we do know is that all else equal, it definitely benefits you to delay it, just because you get significantly higher payouts each year. But you definitely want to incorporate components such as, where else do you have to draw your income? Do you have longevity in your family? So it's not quite as simple as just sort of a rule of thumb delay, because there are benefits in terms of increasing it associated with delaying.
Got it. And Kim?
Also to add, between the age of 62 and 66 and a half roughly, when you are drawing Social Security, you have a limit on what you can earn in a job. Meaning that if you're still working, actively working, it may not behoove you to take Social Security until after age at least 66 and a half. You may have to pay that money back, depending on what your other income is from working. If you plan on continuing to work between age 66 and 70, it's probably better if you can hold off until age 70, because as Jason said, the benefit amount is going to be so much higher if you wait those just 4 years. If you're working anyway, you might be able to do that without it impacting your lifestyle. But in any case, if you are age 70 and taking Social Security, a portion of that money may be taxable depending on your other income from interest, dividends, stock sales, other pension money, and you have to factor that in.
We had a poll question. One of the poll questions was, do you use the RMD, the required minimum distribution of your IRA, for charities? And Kim, you mentioned the new rule with it changing ages from 70 and a half to 72. Jason, for the third of our audience that isn't aware that they can do this, can you explain how an individual can take the RMD of their IRA and donate it, or a portion of that, to a charitable organization to avoid taxes on that?
I actually think that that's a perfect question for Kim.
Sure.
CPA, you work in the tax arena.
What happens is, if let's just pretend that your IRA distribution for the year is going to be $10,000. And typically you donate $3,000 a year to your favorite charity, such as PBS, but you no longer itemize your deductions. That $3,000 typically would not then benefit you on your taxes if you're not itemizing. What you have the option to do is to allocate that $3,000 from the IRA company, whoever holds your money, direct them to send that $3,000 directly to your charity, to Vegas PBS, for example. Then at tax time, that $3,000 will be deducted from the taxable portion that you were shown to have been distributed. So instead of paying tax on $10,000, you'll pay tax on $7,000. It's a benefit that you get even if you don't itemize.
And that's important because with the new tax laws out there, and Kim, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're married filing jointly, the standard deduction is $24,000 and some change. Is that correct?
Correct. Which is a
So
hard number to
basically,
get, believe it or not. It's you think you might get to that number easily, but you certainly don't on an average mortgage with average interest. A home that has average property taxes, you usually fall quite a bit short of that.
unless you live in New York or California. Got it. And then another question that I always have, Kim, is how do you calculate what bracket you're in? So it's not necessarily that if you're in 25% bracket, you take the total income that you have and you divide that by 25%. It's based on, I forgot the term they use. Maybe you can help us with that a little bit.
It's graduated. So the first X amount of income dollars will be taxed at the lowest bracket, and it graduates up the scale per bracket amount and bracket percentage. You may end up having the top tier of your income taxed at 33%, but not all of the income will be taxed at 33%. It graduates by bracket.
Got it. Okay. Let's see here. We've got a couple questions from the audience. One of them is very long, so I'm going to try and summarize it.
I think that one's for Jason.
This one here is a little personal, so I am going to let you guys, I'll send this to you guys offline so that you can handle it. You can respond to it. This is an interesting one, Kim. Why are the results different depending on if you use H&R Block, TurboTax, or you?
Theoretically, the results should not be different. The tax laws are the tax laws. And if you're in full compliance, you should be in full compliance regardless of where or who is doing the tax return, except if you're working with someone who's not familiar with the tax laws. That may cause you to actually owe more taxes or get a bigger refund that you're not entitled to. It could go either way.
Got it. We have one question.
My earlier point, just to reiterate, I think in every single facet of our lives, whether it's hiring somebody to help you learn tennis or, you name it, I think you're better off if you have a certain level of sophistication, just embracing that there are experts out there and you can buy their time. And it can be very expensive if you're working with somebody who's unfamiliar with, you know, the tax laws in this scenario.
I got
So I
a
strongly
really good,
encourage.
yeah, I agree with Jason. Probably the best example I can give is when we were living in Ohio, we had a small plumbing problem. So Jim decided that he was going to try and fix it. Well, luckily, I have a very good friend who owns a plumbing company. And when I made it worse than it needed to be, and I called my friend at Neeson Plumbing, he came and fixed it. Well, then the next time we had an issue, I called and he said, Jim, did you try and fix it first? And I said, no, I called you immediately because we're basically putting his kid through private school with the errors that I made in what was going on. So that's kind of a fun way of, you might think you know what's out there, but you can obviously do more harm than good. And my wife to this day will not let me touch a pipe wrench because I do more harm than good when it comes to what we have going on in the house. So that's a little tidbit from Jim. No plumbing allowed.
Look, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, the best of the best have a coach. They have somebody who can see what they can't see.
Yep. All right, we're coming close to an end. Oh, one more question that we have is, and Kim, this is for you. A lot of our seniors nowadays, they might be widowed or something of that type. And so now they are not remarrying, but they are doing what's called living apart together. What are the tax implications on that? So if you are living together, but you can't file jointly, how does that work?
I'm making the assumption that each person is still earning their own income from separate sources. They would each then file a tax return as single and claim their own income. That should be easily identifiable. I don't know quite where the complication would come in unless they were jointly on title of a home and sharing a mortgage payment. Other than that, I would assume that their income and expenses are unique to themselves.
Is it more beneficial if you're there to file jointly, or is it more beneficial to do it individually, or it just depends on what situation you're in?
Well, if you're not married, certainly you only have one choice, and that is single. The question then would be, if you're married, is it better to file jointly or separately? There's no way to answer that. Each individual has their own unique situation that has to be looked at.
Got it. Okay. Well, we are coming close to the end of our seminar. I've learned a lot. I'm going to make sure that I open my mail now and make sure that I'm not receiving somebody else's or somebody else isn't receiving a unemployment benefit from me. So I'm definitely concerned about that. I'm also going to check on my mother because she's in that target age group that people are going after right now for her mail and those kind of things too. We're coming toward the end. Any other questions? I think I've caught most of them. I'm going to just do one last check here. Okay. So Kim and Jason, this is something that I've instituted. It's called the final thought, which is something that you have that you want to tell the audience that we have not discussed yet, or something that you want to emphasize so that it leaves our audience with some key points to learn. So let's go with Kim first and then Jason.
My takeaway would be this: if you're not receiving a minimum distribution from your IRA and you also don't itemize, you can still get a deduction for charitable contributions for the year 2020 and for the year 2021. It's limited to $300 in 2020. It increases for married couples to $600 in 2021. A lot of people don't realize that, and they're missing to take that deduction on their 2020 return. But for 2021, at least if you're not itemizing, donate that $600 and take that charitable contribution deduction. Vegas PBS is a great place to donate that money.
Thank you. You said it and I didn't have to. Jason?
I have two final thoughts. Number one, if you root for Michigan, it's been proven that good things will come to you in your lifetime. So maize and blue all the way. That's number one. Number two, it's absolutely imperative that you recognize the fundamental differences between growing your wealth and distributing your wealth, and recognizing those risks, given that you only get one shot at retirement. And I strongly encourage you to reach out and have somebody assist you with your planning. Again, you know, as we've discussed, one of the themes, it's tough to go it alone, and there are people out there. There are a lot of experts out there. And then my third point is go blue.
We got to watch that though, because UCLA is blue too. So it's got to be the maize and blue, right?
Has to be maize and blue.
Maize and blue. There we go. Well, I want to thank Kim and Jason for their time, their valuable insight into this. These seminars are brought to you by our Southern Nevada Public Television Plan Giving Council. I want to thank Kim again for being our chairperson of this. We have an excellent committee that is here to help everybody out. Want to remind everybody our next seminar is on real estate in retirement. We have two excellent presenters. We have Shannon Evans and we have Patrick Clifford. I think this will be Patrick's third seminar with us, and I think this will be Shannon's second seminar with us. Again, I want to thank Silver State Schools Credit Union for helping us underwrite these seminars. Hopefully soon we'll be able to get back in person, but for right now we're staying with the virtual element of this. And you are going to receive a survey questionnaire. Summer won't let you leave until you fill it out. She's done a great job with us for that. Please let us know what you liked about today's seminar. And if there are some topics that we did not cover that you would like to see covered, because that's how we plan these for the future. So again, I can't thank everybody enough for being on with us today. Kim, thank you so much. Jason, so much. Go Maize and Blue. Until they play Gonzaga, then we'll talk a little bit more, because I'm from Washington State and Jason and I might have to go back and forth. One of the things that by doing these virtual seminars that we wouldn't be able to do if we were in person, Jason is actually in Florida right now. So there's no way he could be in person right now for us. So this is one of the benefits that we actually have of this. So again, thank you all for attending. Have a great day and please stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you at our next seminar in April. Take care.
Thank you, Jim. And thank you, Jim.
Thank you both.